Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US Indices for the 27th of February, and we're just going to be covering the S&P today. Just want to keep it simple, but also want to have a look at a couple of other counts because it's time to do that, because we've reached a resistance point here, and this is our primary count, however, where we have wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C here for wave 4, and moving up for wave 1 and an ABC for wave 2. When we go on to the intraday charts, I've got this up here as wave 1 here in orange here, but don't worry about that because I'll need to readjust all of that, but this is how this looks at the moment. There is another bullish count and there's also a bearish count as well. So the bearish count so the bearish count would have wave C here, and the way that that would work would be, if I can just go to, is it this one? Yeah, this will do the trick. So it's possible, you know, that we've got wave 5 top in here. We have wave 1 here, an A and a B and a C for the A wave, a B wave and a C wave 2 here, 2800, and then work lower from here. So that's possible. It's not that we're going to miss this, because if we get a change in trend here, we'll be looking for short trades. Now the short trades, you know, I like to keep an open mind. We can either, you know, come down here much further. So that's one way of looking at it. There's another count that I've got that would bring us back down to around this point here. And of course, you know, if we look at all of this as wave 1 up here, then we can look at this here as a 50-60% retracement level. So we can look at this coming down into this space here and then moving up for wave 3 here. So if I can just remove this here. So in a bit of a nutshell, we've got this scenario 20, yeah, probably a bit 2650, 27, yeah, about there, I think. So this is basically all my counts. We can have a top in place here. We can come all the way down through to here. The second count is that we can come down to the 50-60% retracement level and then move up. Or then we can come down to the fourth wave of 1 lesser degree down to this point and then move up. So I know it's annoying having different counts, but what we can do is, first of all, we need some evidence that we're actually moving down through here, and we can put on short trades. So while we're in our short trades here, we can look at the structures and try and figure out, do we have this one, and this one? Yeah, so that's all we're going to do really. So if I come back to our daily count here, that's the count that we'll be looking at in a moment, but there is another bullish count. Well, there's actually 2, but this one here fits well. So this one here is from the low here, wave 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third, the fourth here, and then the 5th wave here for the third. So that will bring us down to the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, or the 38.2% retracement level. The 38.2% retracement level is down at the 2650. So yeah, and in terms of the trading levels, we always expect profit taking to come in at number 8 here. Wherever you see 8, you'll see profit taking, because it carries more weight than the numbers beside it, like 7 and 9. People just tend to gravitate towards even numbers or whole numbers. So let's go in and have a look. So on the 4-hour chart, we're going back to our main count here. And as I mentioned, this count here, if I can just grab one of these guys here, this will actually be wave 1 here. It's just that I'm a little bit lazy. So yeah, so we've got this count moving up through here, as you know, and would be looking for a move back into, let's just look at this a bit, just double check while we're here. on there to there roughly. So that brings us back down to this point here. Not that it has to come all this way down here, but it's just, you know, it's just to sort of flag that particular area. Yeah, but in a nutshell, going from wave 1 here back to wave 2, I can get rid of that. We should be looking, as you know, always wave 2 is a zigzag, is a simple structure. So in a nutshell, it's 5 waves in the A wave, 3 waves in the B wave pulling back up 50-60%, and then 5 waves to the downside here. So it's normally swift and sharp, and then we see a move to the upside. So that's what we're sort of looking at here. So let's get in here and set some short trades up. Now, you have to also remember too that the reality is that this trend to the upside is reasonably strong. It's moved away from the top of the trend line here, so it's gotten a bit weaker as it's moved over to this end of the trend line from this low, bringing this high one over here over to here. So it's sitting on that trend line at the moment. And the thing with trend lines is that when a market moves through them, they'll go through like this, back up through here, and then come here, and then back up and retest it. Sometimes you get a second retest, so you always got to be careful about that with your stops. But it needs to migrate from one side to the other, very much like the levels, how we treat them as well here. So the other point here as well, if this top goes out here, then we would need to be long again from that point. Okay, but what we're looking for is basically some short trades under this space here. So counting from wave 4 here, we're looking at 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So let's go into the hourly chart first up. So here it looks like we've got a nice wave 4 here to wave 5 here, doesn't it? Somehow there could be 5 waves in here. The thing that bothers me, if I pick up this low here on the on the cash market, then it looks like this here. That's the low here. So I'll just take that back again. So it's that low here, and when we look at it on the 5-minute chart, it is so. These moves up through here is only in 3 waves up here. This move, if this is wave 1 here and wave 2 here, then we've got this move down here as wave 4, and it's overlapping these structures here. So yeah, so the cash market hasn't really finished off very nicely here, unless we call the market up as an ending diagonal triangle. I mean, no rush to do that. So coming back over here, yeah, we've got this high here, which would be able to bring down to this high here. So you can go long from that point. So that way we're not fighting the trend. We're not sticking our heads in the ground and saying, you know, that we're right. We can't allow the ego to get in the way of things. The market's the boss and we're just the humble servant. So yeah, this is the number. So we pretty much, we can short through all of this here, somewhere in here. We'll have a closer look at that in a moment. The other point too that I need to make here is that with the 2800 here being a minor level 8 here, we have group 1 above and we have group 2 below here. So this is the normal swing range for this particular well, for any minor level, really, any number. So 1, 2, and 3 above, and 80, 72, and 65 below here. So if 65 becomes the resistance, then we can look to short. So the reality is that this would be for a change in trend, that would be the safe point here. That would be telling me that, well, we've changed the trend now. The market has let go of this number here. When I say that, you'll see that in the order flow of things. Yeah, it's a volume. It's just a volume analysis, but it just shows up as pretty pictures in this case here. So yeah, I mean, we had it over here too, didn't we? We were looking at, didn't quite have a nice 5 waves down here. Counted more like 3 on the really intraday. So if that had become the resistance here, then we would have shorted from that point. But Anyway, we're at this level now, we've touched it, so we can go long above these levels here, and we can look to go short through this space here and looking to add, especially if the 72 here becomes the retested resistance. It didn't quite get the resistance here. It came down here and that gave us our reference point low, and then it moved back up. So when it came down through here again, it's in a different trend here, so we'd still have to wait for that to retest there again. So not quite there. On the yeah, that was the other thing too. Let me just, I don't know if I've got anything on this tick chart here. I might have to go to the other tick chart. Oh no, it's okay. Okay, this is another little count that I've got, unfortunately. It's probably not the case, but looking at this as wave 3 here, an A wave here and a B wave here, well, into this space here now, and then moving down into here. So this length here can equal this length here, so that will take us down into the 72 area through here. So it's possible that there's still this little wave 4 here, but this is 100 ticks here. So I just want to bring this one across. This is my other work chart here. This is 20 ticks here. Okay, so and the good news here is that we do have 5 waves coming down through to this space here. So you can see we've got 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, the fourth wave, and the fifth wave. So we can call, and I'll borrow some of these over here. So we can call that wave 1 in here, wave 2. I mean, it's kind of important because, you know, if this is 5 waves here and not, the A wave can be 3 waves or 5 waves. So, you know, we need to be mindful of that. But we also need to know that, well, if we got 5 waves here, then we're going to, after a correction back into this space, we've got another 5 down. So on the 20 ticks here, we can just, I'll just go over this. So it's pretty easy to see the 5 waves here. So we've got wave 1 here, wave 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, fourth and fifth. So back for the second here. Just give me a second here. So we've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here. And then we've got the third wave, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to here. So we can put that into here. We can put that wave 4 there, can we? I just need to double check that. So I can come back this way and check 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. Where have I gone wrong here? 1, 2, 3. I don't particularly like that fourth wave, but I'm okay with it overlapping because it's at the 28 here, and that's what large numbers do. They skew the wave count, and you need to know that and work with that a little bit. It's helpful to understand that simple point. Okay, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here's wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 here. So that's just the third wave here, and that's the fourth. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. This can be counted in different ways, so I'm not really going to worry about that too much. So what we can do here, I'm just shooting the breeze here because we're not looking at other markets. Okay, so we're at the 61.8% mark, so we don't particularly want to go short right there, do we? Because we're going to get a bounce in this space. So then what we can do, it may go a little bit low or whatever, but just looking for the next sort of, just working this in, so we look for the shorts. And it may not pull all the way back here as well. So in this chart here, we can use this as wave 2 here, which I'll probably need to go up a degree really. Just get rid of that. Wave 1 here. And moving into wave 3 here. And now we can use these guys here. Copy that as wave 1, 2 here. So picture's starting to form a little bit. It's kind of helpful, I guess, just to get in, but you don't want to overtrade at this point. We've still got a little hiccup to go in here. I'll just check this count. I probably need to go a bit further, 1 and 2. No, I need to go into smaller tick chart to get it, but we're close. So you expect to bounce off there, back to this space. But what this does, that will give us a reference point low here. So if we can just go in there. So we should see a move back up in here. So if the market moves back up in here, then we can configure this line here as a possible trigger. But we're looking for the bounce. You don't want to short it. Just if it breaks through here, we don't want to short it. We want to see it rally back up and test supply there. Okay. So look at the numbers again for the level. So that's 90. From 90 to the next 110 points here, you'll have group 1, which is 1, 2, and 3. If support is found on 3 here, then that will take you back to 5 here, and also 8 in here. 98 will be another profit-taking number in that space there, and the 95 here, and the 3 here. 3, 5, and 8 Fibonacci numbers there. So they're the numbers to be, because you can work those to the downside too if you wanted to. So with all that said, we also know that we need to go long above here as well. Okay, so let's just put that in here. So that's our long trade there. Yeah, and also just build into the short side. This is the problem down here. If this is an A and a B and a C wave down here, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 down into 272 here. So there's going to be a problem down here anyway. So you'll have to give that consideration into this space here. The other thing you can look out for too is that where I mentioned corrections, is that if we've got the market moves up and the A wave here, and then the B wave and the C wave. If this C wave is on more of an angle like that, I'm exaggerating here, from this one here, if that's on more of an angle there, then you know it's an ABC correction. If this starts to move down sharper, or the same as wave A here, which it is here, then you know that you're in a third wave at that point. So we can pretty much move these guys here. I'll just leave them there for a reference point. Yeah, so just going back to our hourly chart here. This is where we put the trade thing. So just on the hourly chart here, we've got a bit of a thing going through here somewhere, haven't we? On the tick chart, you can pick that up a bit better there. I kind of like it. Well, we're going to get the bounce, aren't we? We're going to come down through here somewhere to the 61.8%. We're going to have a bounce here, and then we're going to go down again. So that becomes our reference point here. So if I can move that up into there, you have to wait for the bounce though for that. And then we move down here. There's definitely going to be support all within group 2 here. All of this here is going to reflect back on over here as well. So this is the troubled area through here. So yeah, you just have to think it out a little bit, depending on how much you put in. You could just have this one here. You could take some profit at the 72, wait for another bounce, and then look to add again. We'll be all over it by that time it gets here. But if it just goes an A and a B and a C wave down to here, then this is why you want to take some profit in here, just to protect what you've got at that point. But like I said, if this moves down sharply through here, then we know that we're on the right track, and you don't need to take profit here. Just keep selling into the rallies at that point. But we'd want to be looking at adding under the 72 here and under the 65, and definitely copy this under the 50 here as well. So don't make it too top heavy. 3 or 4 positions is enough. Okay, alrighty. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.